about to start. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of No Conduct Radio. I know last week we said we were going to be taking female questions, and I did get a lot of questions that were coming in. However, we have to change this show because, and we'll do it next week. We're not like dismissing females. We're going to get to your questions next week. But the other day, I think this was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. Tuesday morning, I woke up to an article on my Facebook, and the article itself didn't make me angry. It was one of the quotes in the article that absolutely pissed me off. Like, when I say I was mad, it took me half a day to calm down. And I'll read that article to you later on in the show, and I'll point out the quote. If you can't figure it out for yourself, then something's wrong with you. But I'll point out the quote for you after I've read it. So today's show, we're talking about this article from NBC News, and it's talking about a teacher who was fired for using the wrong transgender pronoun. So we're going to be discussing that. Now, if you're already somebody who's going to get upset just because that's already the title of the show and you're assuming what we're going to talk about, then feel free to turn off the show because I don't have time for the bullshit, really. Like I said, there was just this one, and I promise you, I bet you anything y'all will see when I read the article, y'all will see exactly what that one quote in there was that just incensed me. Like, oh my God. Everybody kept messaging me like, are you okay? Have you calmed down? Are you, like, I was really pissed off. So I decided to make today's show about that.
Does anyone else hear that sound?
Char's TV, maybe?
No, I'm at work, and I'm actually in a private office. It's not me.
There's nobody else. BJ couldn't make it today. It's me, Logic, and Char.
Oh, really? Okay, so Logic.
It sounds like it's some kind of echo or something.
Logic, close the door to your dungeon, please, so we can continue with the show. I know there's a lot going on down there.
That's right, Logic.
Thank you.
Close the dungeon door. We good now?
I mean, I don't hear it. I heard it when you were talking earlier, but I don't hear it now.
Okay, well.
Okay, yeah, I don't hear anything myself. So anyways, like I said, BJ has a show to go to because, you know, he's getting rich and famous. And it's me,
right.
Logic, and Char. So, and before I get into how are y'all doing today, I have to shout somebody out. So I just got a message on our Facebook. One of our longtime listeners, apparently they weren't able to listen to us for some time due to work constraints, but apparently they've been snowed in. So they're happy to be here today. So welcome. Thank you for coming back. I'm so sorry you missed everything, but you can definitely catch up with this show on our YouTube. And also, if you go to our YouTube, Char has a new show on there also where she takes your relationship questions. So definitely catch up on our new YouTube channel, No Conduct Radio on YouTube. You missed a lot. Trust me, you missed a lot. So, but I do want to say welcome back, and give you applause for coming back. Yeah, welcome back. And thank you for being a long-time listener as well. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, how is everyone doing?
Great. I got back safely on the plane. I thought it was going to go down in flames right over the Grand Canyon. I mean,
why?
Oh my God. I've never been so terrified. Okay, has any of you ever been in turbulence? I fly a lot, so it's not like I'm not familiar with it, but have any of you just been on a plane and there's been really bad turbulence, which is a compression of air that's swirling around? Okay. Did you know that technically...
I know what turbulence is. Was she defining it for us?
No.
Yeah.
She was defining turbulence. Oh, my God.
She was about to describe it.
No, seriously. I know many people who just don't fly at all. They won't fly. Don't want to fly. They're terrified to fly, or they just never, for whatever reason, never had a need to leave wherever they are. So that's why I'm saying that just generally. But here's the thing. It was so bad that I felt like one of the wings was surely going to snap off. And it's kind of like this one gentleman behind me, he goes, woohoo, roller coaster. And he's putting his arms up like we're on the
what a dick.
Right.
What a
and then
dick.
the guy ahead, this is funny. And then the gentleman ahead of me actually is getting drunk. I mean, super drunk. He didn't know how else to deal with this. He kept looking out the window, and every time he looks out the window, he said, "Oh, excuse me, I'm going to need another shot." I mean, it was so.
Wow.
Yes, and so the attendant was like, the flight attendant was like, you know what? This one's on me. This is on the house. Because
wow.
we all go down, and we all go down. Who's going to look at budgets and you know what was given away that wasn't accounted for? So anyway, long story short, I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to go down like this, I would kind of rather do it with a bunch of people. So, you know, is this what other people do? Tell me if I'm really crazy, guys, okay? Do you look around when you get on the flight to see if the flight attendants are attractive? Because if you all go down, at least it's pretty people. Or see what type of people are on the plane,
You're
like
crazy.
they're interesting looking.
You
I'm
are
crazy. Okay, that's
totally nuts.
I'm really serious. I hope that some of the listeners are thinking the same thing. So then I'm like, okay, then the other scenario is, well, if you're going to die, why not die with like 200 other people? At least you're all in the same boat. And then over the Grand Canyon is not the worst way to go down, right?
Jesus,
I mean, it's a beautiful point of interest. It's natural beauty in the world that people – okay.
You prefer, if you die, that it is with 200 other people over the Grand Canyon.
If it's going to happen, I think I couldn't pick a better
and this is after you take an inventory of attractive people that's on board.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. That's the first thing I do. You guys don't people watch anyway in general? Well, guess what? You take it to another level if you people watch. I think people watching is just looking at people go by if you're at an outing, right? Just generally like.
I mean, I people watch all the time.
Right.
I people watch and people same all the time. But if I'm on a plane. No, I don't care how attractive you are. I don't give a crap. And secondly, if I'm dying, I don't care if it's 1 billion people dying with me. I'm dying.
No, but not alone, Kai, but not alone in your own misery. Okay, and you guys, here's another scenario.
They're not going to put you in a mass grave together. You're going in your own grave, so you're still dying alone. Like, are you serious?
Well,
it's just like saying, ever thought about how you were born and how many people were born at the same time as you? You were still born alone unless you were, even if you were a twin, you were still born alone. Like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Okay. You know what? You're making perfect sense right now, but I got to add this to this whole scenario. Don't you guys remember back in the day when flight attendants were very attractive because they had to be? They had to be. Nowadays, you could be 200 pounds overweight.
I honestly have never paid attention to flight attendants. Never.
Okay, well, did you know the airlines do pay attention? So back in the day, this only changed in maybe the late 90s. You had to be attractive. They had very, very, very sophisticated uniforms. And seriously, it was almost like a Model S type of thing to do. And, you know, even when my mother was growing up and when she was a model, they looked for model types to actually be flight attendants, except she was too tall. And so now, but anyway, the thing is, these days, I see flight attendants, okay, let me just say this. This was kind of cool. I'm not discriminating because I think this is kind of cool, but I was surprised. I was on a flight going to Atlanta, and one of the female flight attendants, female lady, she had a huge afro, like a soul sister afro. And you know how they were so particular over the years. Yeah, but it's just, you know, in that industry, I was just kind of like, okay, cool. They're finally starting to come around and see that we come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, and hairdos and everything else ethnically so that we're not discriminated against anymore, even as a flight attendant. But honestly, they were more attractive for a reason, and they said it actually makes people feel calm to see a very attractive person, give them instructions, be their attendant on the entire flight, and that just went down in flames. It really did. But long story short, guys, to my chagrin, I looked this up last night because I literally could not sleep. Okay, I couldn't sleep. I got off the plane just a wreck, a nervous wreck. And Charles was like, "Will you ever calm down? How about if I take you to your favorite restaurant?" It still was just like, So they said on the internet, I looked at aviation.com, all these different sites. You can't die. The plane won't go down from just turbulence. Wind shear, yes, but not turbulence. There's a huge difference, though. So any of you out there like me who has been in a very turbulent flight, like severe turbulence, then never fear. It's not going to go down. It just feels that way. It really feels that way. Okay, so life will go on. You will make it to your destination.
Were you as enthralled about this story as I was?
I stopped listening like 10 minutes ago.
No, he didn't. Logic knows that secretly he longs for the Char stories. He longs for them. He does. Not all of them, but some. He sits there and goes, this is amusing. Logic's like, I was in my dungeon today, and I was saying to myself, nothing amusing has really happened at this point today, but when Char gets on, it's going to be something that's going to get my attention and say, hey, that was kind of interesting.
Well, I guess the cat is out of the bag. So.
All right, so I just took up our first 10 minutes on the panel here, but I had to share that, and I'm just glad I'm alive to even be on the show today. But according to aviation.com, I wouldn't have died anyway. So they said you have more injuries from the actual luggage and what's happening on the inside of the plane when it's shifting and being thrown around like that than the actual plane itself, taking you down. So
fascinating.
That was good. I'm back from New Mexico. Now I'm back to Sin City. I'm back from New Mexico to Sin City, ready to get into something simple. I'm kidding. I was praying all my last prayers on that flight. Trust me. All my sins were being begged to be forgiven.
You know what I would do if they still had it. I would do one of those cross country train trips where it just cuts through like where there's nobody out there. You know what I mean? All through the desert.
Yeah.
The plane, right. That would have been something cool to say.
Logic, they still do. I just looked that up. A few weeks ago because I wanted to do something similar because I love the landscaping of America, so many different places and what have you, and they still do that. Of course, it was Amtrak, but they also have some interstate or what is it called? Intercoastal. They have some that go across, a good number of states, but they're and they specialize in the history, and points of interest. It's kind of like a tourist attraction type of thing, and you have a tour guide. So, and
no, I'm
it was
just listening. Cool. I don't know how whatever that way is. I'm just talking about like where you could get on the train, you have your own personal cabin, and that was it. Like you just, in a week or so, you'd be over in California from New York.
Right. They did have something similar, and you know what? Your meals are included, optional meals. They even have a wine tasting. That's included, and they have like a lounge where you could just sit and talk and meet other people. It was really cool. Trains have changed a lot, so they're, I love the concept though. You have a shower option in your room, in your cabin. Isn't that cool? You can completely go to sleep and everything. You know that probably. Wash up, everything. So I like it. I think that's a great idea. Yep.
I haven't been on a train, and this was only in L, so I was on that when I was 24, and I was baffled as to how to get around.
Right,
that was
like
about it.
A commuter train.
Yeah,
we're talking a scenic train.
I take flight. I took a bus. I took a Greyhound once before, but I'm a brat. I've always had a car, and then when I didn't have a car, I made sure I had a car. Like, I'm a brat. I don't do public transportation, so.
Yeah, but Kai, that has nothing to do with being bratty whatsoever. A train is usually a choice.
Yeah, but I'm saying I would
the moment of being on it.
I would take a plane. I'd rather fly because I don't have the patience to sit there for 10 extra hours just to look out the window.
Well, okay.
Unless I'm the one driving, then.
Yeah, but that you will do. You're absolutely right. You will be there for some time. But that's the whole concept, is just to relax and enjoy the countryside or the different states and different areas that you go through. It's just really beautiful to see America. A lot of people don't realize what's out there. It's really gorgeous, especially when you get towards the Pacific Coast Highway, whatever part wasn't burnt up. really beautiful train ride. Yes, America.
Well,
We're
I wonder
tourism today.
I wonder how good it is for certain people, like immigrants or Muslims or whatever, to trains. I don't think it's as easy. I don't think it's as easy as just everyone else jumping on a train or a plane or just traveling. I just personally don't think so. I mean, look at you, for instance, not to be mean, but look at you. You said if you saw some dude with his turban wrapped around his head, you'd be already scared. So,
okay, well, you guys, let me give you an update. The gentleman right behind me did, and I was just okay. I was so proud of myself. I took a breath. I'm like, no, I'm good, and I just thought about something else. So I'm past that silly phobia. But I just wanted to let you.
So basically, you had to force yourself to think about something else, and now you think you're over it.
No, it's like when he came on, I was thinking to myself, I prefer. Well, I'll put it this way: he had a backpack, and I for a second, I'm like, oh my God, there could be a bomb there. I did have one of those discriminating thoughts.
Wow,
I really did. And
what
then I thought he was going to sit next to me. Honestly, he could have sat right next to me anyway because he sat behind me. So I'm like, okay, well. You know, I mean, if there was a bomb, it'll probably take my head off first because I'm sitting right in front of you. But no, other than that, I honestly wasn't thinking.
You are not
but I honestly wasn't having those thoughts. I know,
right?
It wasn't like before. I felt like I'm getting better. I do because I smiled and it was sincere. You know, he kicked my leg and I said no worries. You know, accidentally, I'm sure, because they don't give you any room for your feet at all to stretch out. You know, or your legs. So. You know, I'm getting better.
Well, I got to say, whenever I see somebody with a turban and a backpack or coming on the plane speaking Arabic or somebody with a scarf on their head, I don't think anything other than what I would think for everybody else. Just look at them and then move on. Good Lord.
Well, maybe I was people watching and I got stuck and just had a thought, and then I moved on from there.
For shame.
Okay, I'm over it. I'm over it.
I had this white girl tell me she was like in her neighborhood. You know, it's a lot of black guys, and she's like it's big black guys, and I kind of get scared when if I'm walking from my car to my apartment by myself, because it's black guys, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I said I'll get scared if it's just me at night walking from my car to my house, and I see a guy. I said if I see a group of white guys or a white guy or a Latino guy, I'm going to be scared because it's a guy. Like, so you're only scared if it's a black guy? What the hell? She was just
she should only be scared if she was in bed with that black guy.
Let me guess. She didn't think she was racist.
No, I'm sure.
Until I pointed it out to her, then she understood where I was coming from, and she's like, you're right. I shouldn't see it that way, blah, 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 blah. But it's amazing to me. It's just really amazing to me. But hey, I mean, as long as you can change one person's mind, right, and let them see how their thinking is not right. Because I'm pretty sure she said it to other people and nobody's ever corrected her.
Wow.
No,
nothing. Crickets. Okay, then.
No, because
we've been agreeing with you this entire time. I mean, how many times you want us to?
Logic. You know what I was thinking, though? You know what I was thinking when she said she was scared? I was thinking the only reason she should be scared is that she was in bed with that black man, because a lot of women that act that way, like they're so terrified of our black man, they want them sexually. They want to see if it's true.
No, not all the time.
You can handle all that.
Some people are just racist. I was watching this video the other day. It was this Spanish girl talking about her realizing that her family was racist. She never thought about it, but after she was growing up, she started to see how much they were like, oh, why are you listening to black people music? Why are you listening to, like, everything that they said was just negativity about black people. Wow. And she was just like, well, what are you talking about? They live on the same street as we do. They live up, blah, blah, blah. And she said she realized that her community looked down on this other Spanish girl that lived on the corner because she married a black guy. It's
wow. The entire community?
Yeah, they looked at her like, you know, you married one of them. You know, it was like as if she had stepped down a level or something like that. But
wow.
you know, she said when she would confront her mother when she got older, you know, she would say, okay, so what about, you know, she was Mexican. She's like, well, what about Mexicans? She's like, you know, so-and-so is a drunk, this other person is a drunk, and this person that goes over there and he beats his wife, and this one does that. So what does that mean? All Mexicans are just alcoholics who beat their wives? Like, what are you saying? And she, you know, the mother wouldn't have anything to say back about that, you know. So it is just a way that society has taught other people to look at black people in a certain way. Danger. You know, all of the stuff we're seeing on YouTube with people stopping people that live in a building from coming in. Let me see your key. You know, do you live here? Can you prove it? It's like, what?
Yeah, that was crazy. I saw that. Oh, my gosh.
That just happened again. It was like an African guy.
Really?
It just happened a couple of days ago. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Again, you think they learned from that life experience? That was just
I think it's
humiliating.
happening all the time. I don't think that they're recording it.
Right.
You know, you get somebody that's watching you. I have a friend right now. He has a really nice place, and he says he's caught his neighbors watching him. Like when he parks the car, instead of them, like they'll be in the parking garage. So before they leave, they'll sit there in their car and watch to see if he actually has access to the building.
Mhm.
And once
that's
he
crazy.
uses his key and opens the door, then that's when they pull off. Like, oh, okay. But it's like if you was a regular white guy just walking past them, they would just pull off 9 times out of 10 and never think, does this guy belong here? But they've already have a predisposed idea that these people don't belong here. So let me make sure this person belongs here because it's my duty to watch out for my fellow neighbors and let them know there's trouble about.
Well, am I a dick if I did something crazy like after I saw them looking at me, I'll turn around and stare at them wide-eyed and be like, oh, my God, do you belong here? Do you live here? What are you doing here? Move before I call 911. I'll do it.
You know what I would do, to be honest with you, to freak them out? I would walk over to their car and take out a pencil and make it look like I'm writing down their license plate number. And just be like, I'll see you later.
You know you're getting a knock on your door, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to happen? You might as well give them a good reason. I just, you know, one thing I don't understand, though, is why black men actually stop their progress throughout whatever they're doing and start explaining themselves. Like, my thing is, if somebody's blocking the door, I would give them 5 seconds before I push them out the way. Like, I'm not going to sit here and explain myself. You're not an authority here. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because either way, you're going to call the cops. So call them for a reason. And when the cops get there, they'll be like, yeah, she was blocking my entrance, you know, illegally detaining me, and I pushed her out the way. But I live here. This is what it is, and blah, blah, blah. Keep it moving. I would not explain myself to some random person, white, black, whoever they are. I'm not explaining myself to you. Who are you?
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you. I'm not doing it either. I completely agree with you. There's been times when certain things have happened that the only reason I didn't go off is because my daughter was begging me to calm down. Because I was already starting, and she was like, Mommy, please calm down. So, yeah. But anyways, I guess what I'm going to do first, because normally we go ahead and play our commercials at around this time, half past the hour. So we're not quite there yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play a song. It's called You Better, and it's by Almighty Z. You can see it on our, it's going to be on our, I guess, what would you call this? our show's description. You could find out more about him and his album on ReverbNation.com. He has more songs on there, but the song that we're going to play tonight is You Better. And he did not have a radio version, a clean radio version. So it does have cussing in this. So if you want to turn down your speakers for the next 2 minutes and 47 seconds, if you do not want to listen to curse words or don't want your children to hear it, then I go ahead and do that. I did let him know that I would give that little speech before. So anyways, here's You Better by Almighty Z.
Talking to boy. Better know who you are talking to, boy. The boy. Better get out of my face. I swear I don't play games. I will put you in your place. I rap like and maniac with rage. Not knowing can a paper is enough for me to write this simplistic bars. That's on my flow. I'm giving it all. Words more like jigsaw building blocks. This game is like a taking a shot. Every bar says from a sipping on one, sipping on rocks like my hip hop style raw. Homie, I ain't singing no song, going no stop, giving it all, living my dream. Picture me real, go out and get it. Respect I demand it, I will get it. Come and test me, I said it. Life's so best and I'm a rabbit. All I get is talk that I am too weak for this shit. That I should probably give up and start a new dream. But I ain't going no back. I already said, if you don't like the verse, then screw you when you pee in the end. Give me a rapper, give me a beat. I will them like they're snacks to me. Watch you think it, step to me. Burns and shoulders, third degree. I don't want to go nasty, but I'm already at it. So might as well go and get it and show y'all out I'm ready for this game. Real talk, no ham, only cheese, dog. No mess, only me, dog. Fresh as this gets MC, I'm sick, yo. Hold up a minute, gotta get the kick up. Feeling confused from hip-hop, probably need some build pop. And the kick drops. Hold up a minute, gotta get the kick up. Feeling confused from hip-hop, probably need some build pop. You ill not? No. Maniac of depression coming next straight from me. Tell me if you think you are sicker than me. Now all these people are telling me that I'm fucking whack, and all this reason is because in my mind I am so depressed. But let them have it. When I'm motherfucking pocket manic, I flip this deck, I'm at it. Don't fucking around with my brain, I'm going at it. Now listen, yes, I just swear a lot on my microphone. Oh, it hurt your feelings, oh boo boo, fuck you all. Business, all this trauma because of my failings, and the people were there to support me. I don't even gonna write bars anymore. I just stand in front of a microphone and scream my fucking thoughts. Cause I'm down, dog. Please somebody get me up. I'm falling down, but there is nobody to pick me up. So I'm fucking rolling alone. Bitch, I'm hunting solo. Cause I'm going for show, bitch.
And that was You Better by Almighty Z. In our description, you can actually find his website to find out more about his album and more about his songs. That's ReverbNation.com. All right, so we're back. If you have anything to talk about while we're discussing, on the subject of this article from NBC.com, teacher fired for using the wrong transgender pronoun, please be sure to give us a call at 607-203-5378. That's 607-203-5378. We would love to hear from you. If you don't want to call in, but you do want to text and leave your opinion, give us a text at 484-840-3627. All right, so let me get this. I hear the echo you're talking about, Logic. I have no idea where that's coming from. Char, do you have the show playing live?
What do you mean playing live? I'm just on my cell phone.
Do you have the show playing in the background, or does somebody have the show on in the background?
No, it's just on my cell, like I always do.
This must be Blog Talk Radio error. Well, let's chalk it up to that.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm
anyway,
on a brand new cell, by the way, so I have no more technical issues. I meant to tell you guys that. No more technical issues that I have every week. So, brand new cell, nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's like working great. Woo, that's really. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm so happy for you.
Me too. I always had issues on the show. Remember last time I dropped 3 times? You were like, "No, Char, I think that's your phone." It was weird. It's like I thought it was Blog Talk. We couldn't hear anything. I was like, "Is it just
no,
me?"
you
know,
couldn't hear anything. It was just you.
Yeah.
Okay, so this article on NBCNews.com. It's called "Teacher Fired for Refusing to Use Transgender Students' Pronouns." So, a Virginia high school teacher who refused to use a transgender student's new pronouns has been fired. News outlets report that the West Point School Board voted unanimously, or as Char says, how do you say it again?
I've changed it again a few times.
I can't remember how she said it.
Now I've confused myself.
Anyways,
unanimously.
West Point School Board voted unanimously Thursday to dismiss Peter Vlaming after a 4-hour hearing that drew an overflow crowd. The school system said in a statement that Vlaming was fired for insubordination. Over the summer, the 9th grade student's family informed the school system that the student's gender transition to male. The student wasn't involved in Thursday's hearing. It's not suggested that the 47-year-old West Point High School French teacher deliberately referred to the student using female pronouns in the student's presence, but in conversations with others. Witnesses described a slip-up when the student was about to run into the hall and Vlaming told others to stop her. When discussing the incident with administrators, Vlaming made it clear he would not use male pronouns, a stance that led to his suspension referral for disciplinary action. Quote, "I can't think of a worse way to treat a child than what was happening," said West Point High School Principal Jonathan Hockman, who testified that he told Vlaming to use male pronouns in accordance with the student's wishes. Vlaming told superiors that his Christian faith prevented him from using male pronouns for the students. Vlaming said he had the student in class the year before when the student identified as female. Vlaming's attorney, Sean Voiles, said his client offered to use the student's name and to avoid feminine pronouns, but Voiles said the school was unwilling to accept the compromise. That discrimination then leads to creating a hostile learning environment, and the student has expressed that. The parent had expressed that. They felt disrespected. Non-discrimination policies were updated a year ago to include protections for gender identity, but didn't include guidance on gender pronouns use, according to Vlaming's lawyers. So, pop quiz. Did anybody catch the quote that really pissed me off?
Well, because they
No?
said that they were saying it wasn't the correct, not even pronunciation, the correct word to use or the correct type, the correct.
It wasn't. They said it wasn't the correct pronoun to use. That's what it was.
Pronoun,
but
right.
that wasn't the quote that I was talking about. Logic?
Oh.
He couldn't think of a worse way to treat a child.
I can't think of a worse way to treat a child than what was happening. Are you freaking kidding me right now? So because we didn't call this girl a he because she said she was now a he, and mind you, this teacher is used to her being a she, and you're expecting him to just automatically flip a switch and call you he. But because he didn't call her he, and he said, hey, instead of using the pronouns because of my beliefs, I'll use your name instead, that wasn't good enough for them, and I can't think of a worse way to treat a child. So, let me tell you, Tuesday morning I was so pissed off, and I couldn't even tell you how many Facebook rants I went on that morning. So I don't know who can't think of a worse way to treat a child, but I guess, in their little head, this is so horrible. And I should have brought up my Facebook post so I could just even tell y'all what I wrote, because I was like, and then all day, every time I saw something bad happening to black children, I was posting it and saying, I can't think of a worse way to treat a child. I can't think of a worse way to treat a child. Like, okay, here it goes. Let me find this post I did. All right, so y'all are about to see this. Okay, it starts off, I can't think of a worse way to treat a child. Are you effing kidding me? By not calling her a he? I can show you stories of worse ways, not including people who actually abuse their kids. Let's take a look at a few, shall we? Take body slamming a black girl in class. Was that cop fired? Take calling the cop on a black girl in class because she had her feet on the chair. Take calling the cops on a black 7-year-old for selling water in front of his house. Take lynching kids. And what about Emmett Till, a 14-year-old who was beating so badly you couldn't recognize him because a white woman said he whistled at her? Well, funny enough, just last year, she actually admitted that she lied. Is she in jail?
Well, she died.
A couple examples. Nobody cares. Those were just a couple examples. And then here's another one. Alabama black girl commits suicide after classmate taunted, kill yourself. And so, of course, I posted that article, and I posted, I can't think of a worse way to treat a child. Here's the headline for this article. You think you're white because you ride with that white boy. Bullied black Alabama girl, 9, commits suicide after classmates taunted her for having a white friend and told her to kill herself. A 9-year-old girl has committed suicide after being bullied by her 4th grade classmates. Mackenzie Adam was found by her grandmother in her Linden, Alabama home after she hanged herself. Family members say she had been harassed since the beginning of the school year. Family members say Mackenzie had transferred to U.S. Jones Elementary School in Demopolis, Alabama, because she had been bullied at her school in Linden. Mackenzie's mother, Jasmine Adams, told CBS 42 that much of the bullying came from her friendship with a white boy and how his family would drive her to school. She told me that this one particular child was writing her nasty notes in class. It was just things you wouldn't think a 9-year-old should know. Part of it could have been because she rode to school with the white family, and a lot of it was race. Some of the students bullied would say to her, "Why are you riding with why are you riding with white people? You're black. You're ugly. You should die." So this happened to a 9-year-old. We're supposed to care about using a pronoun with a 9th grader. So I shared that one. I also shared white cop who fatally shot unarmed Jeffrey Dennis at point-blank range faces no charges. Nothing happened to him. Don't forget, all these Mexican immigrants being shipped back to Mexico, but they're leaving their children here and having 2-year-olds on the stands by themselves. They're completely messing up these children's mind because they're ripping them from their family and putting them in like a detention center and then bringing them out in front of a bunch of adults they don't know and asking them questions. But I can't think of a worse way to treat a child. Here's another one. NYPD officers forcibly ripped this woman's baby from her arms because she reportedly resisted arrest. She was holding her son, and I don't know what they wanted her to do, drop him and then get arrested for whatever. But anyway, she's holding her son, and she's like, "You're hurting my son, you're hurting my son." And they ripped the child from her arms and arrested her. But I can't think of a worse way to treat a child, yeah? And it just that was my day. I just couldn't even. And then at the end of the day, I posted, in today's world, we're getting fined, fired, or dropped from friends list for not acknowledging a man now saying he's a woman. But racism is still okay. We haven't even remotely fixed racism, but we're supposed to now worry about pronouns. People can actually and legally get fired for having dreadlocks, which is a black person's natural hair. All you just don't do is like comb it, and it just turns into dreadlocks. And it can look very, very neat. It just depends on the person. Dreadlocks are not nasty, as white people seem to think, or some white people seem to think. Let me not say white people in general because I'm generalizing, but some white people seem to think. But you can legally get fired for having your dreadlocks. Children get harassed for having their natural hair in school, which there's a story of this mixed girl. She's not even full black. She's half black, half white, but she wears her hair out in an afro because she likes it, and her school is in the process of trying to expel her from school because they say she needs to have, quote unquote, in their school thing, it says she needs to have natural hair, which to them means it needs to be straight. but she is rocking her natural hair. They said her hair is making other people jealous, and it's not allowing everybody to focus on class. It's disrupting the class. So they're going to expel her from school because she's wearing her natural hair, which is in guidelines with what the school says, wear your natural hair. So she is. But then they asked these other people, and they were like, well, if the school says it, guess what color they were? But anyways, black people still can't even go to certain places in the world and be treated like human beings. One of the richest women in the freaking world, Oprah Winfrey, where was she? Italy or France or something? And they wouldn't let her in the store.
That happened
because
in
she was
New York,
black. No other reason.
Yeah, I saw
no
that,
other reason. But because she was
Excuse
black.
me, can I help you? Can I help you with something, ma'am? Unless you can't afford, the most expensive bracelet in the store or what have you. I mean, it's all.
She could
so
afford the store clerk. She could afford to buy their family. She could afford more than they were offering.
She could buy the entire fleet of stores out, and she could become the owner, vice president, senior vice president, executive officer. But Logic was saying something, and so Logic, what were you adding to that?
No, I was saying it happened to her in New York too. She was in New York City in Manhattan, and there was a store that she wanted to go to, and she, along with her little entourage, they went to this store. And they knocked on the door. The store had the door locked, but it was, during operating times. And that store has a policy where if you don't look, well, they're not going to actually say this, but basically they unlock the door for certain patrons, and they keep it locked for others. They claim it's because, we've been robbed before. So, we take precautions. But Oprah Winfrey and her entourage looked suspicious to her. And they never opened the door for her.
That's just, and there's Oprah Winfrey. She could have bought the police station.
This is well into her being Oprah. So it wasn't like they didn't.
She could have bought the police station down the road and forced them to open the door and kick everybody out of that store. Oh, yeah, let's not forget this other story that's going around. Centonia Brown, 16 years old when she killed a guy who was helping sex traffic her. They put her in jail for defending herself, and she has to serve 51 years before she's eligible for release.
What?
But that little boy who raped that girl behind the dumpster, they let him go because, hey, he's a good boy. He plays lacrosse. We don't want to sully his record. But I can't think of a worse. Brock Turner, that was his name. 6 months for raping and assaulting an intoxicated, unconscious woman. But I can't think of a worse way to treat a child.
There was another white kid that he sexually assaulted a young black boy with Down syndrome. And they said that they didn't want to destroy his life. So he only had to serve, I think it was a year, but then the judge said he's going to award him a time served, so he's going to only do 6 months.
Wow. Yeah. I can't think of a worse way to treat a child. And so the funny thing is, something popped up that same day. I guess it was a memory that I had from 2 years ago. Somebody had told me that they're so sick of this race crap. It was a white girl who said, I'm so sick of this race crap. So I actually answered her, yeah, me too. Too bad I have to walk outside and deal with it by people who are sick of this race crap too. The people who want to pack all black apes in a trash can and shoot them to the moon. True story. I've heard that. Who want to pack all black apes in a trash can and shoot them to the moon because we don't belong here. Or, my favorite, the ones who think we should all leave the U.S. and go back to Africa. Or the ones who tell their kids to tell my kid they can't play with her because she's black. Man, yeah, you're right. I'm so sick of this race crap. But I can't think of a worse way to treat a child because we didn't call her he. And it wasn't that the guy was just like, screw that, I'm not doing it. He said I will compromise. I'll call the kid the name. I just won't use the pronouns. They said no. They said that was offensive. Hold on, what was the quote that they said? That discrimination then leads to creating a hostile learning environment. And they felt disrespected. I'm just letting y'all sit on that one.
Oh, boy.
So one of our listeners messaged in. One of our listeners messaged in, we had the same situation happen at our school a couple years back. We want more juice. Come on. Message in and let us know what else happened.
Okay. Just a little bite, just a little
nip.
Wait, that's where the message ended?
That was where the message ended, yeah.
that was it.
Oh, Lord.
That was the message.
The hell was the point of that?
So what I wanted to ask you guys, what I wanted to ask you guys regarding
go ahead.
is, okay, so regarding this poor little girl, though, she's just as sweet as she can be, I'm sure, and she was proud of her afro. That's her natural hair. But when they said, quote, that you're making other people jealous, so was it jealous or was it uncomfortable? Because I saw several other cases like that.
What they said was it's causing a distraction in the classroom. That's what they said.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
That's the tagline that they used.
Jealous. That's why I said that.
And she's a honor
I
student.
said jealous. I thought they said that.
Yeah.
Well, did you hear her logic? She thought they were saying the word jealous. That's why I was saying that's interesting, because before in other cases like that, they would say it was distracting to the other students. They couldn't focus. They couldn't concentrate on what the teacher was teaching. They're causing a commotion. It makes the other kids uncomfortable. You know, all of these other adjectives, which is just ridiculous still. But when you said jealous, I thought, well, maybe jealousy, if it did say, it could just be, it's still attention, right? It's still attention that's brought to the little girl. That was not her goal. Her mother just said, look, this is, hey, it saves time in the morning. Wash it. It's natural. It does what it does. And this is how, people don't seem to understand the reason we even have, afro-textured hair in the first place. African-American people or African, whatever you consider yourself, the correct description there.
Here it goes.
But here's my little rant. So here's the thing. The reason we have that texture hair in the first place is in our original environment, it was extremely hot. If you have Caucasian textured hair, I've even read, let me finish. This is scientific. Let me finish. Okay, first of all, their hair secretes grease from the roots, and it's a thinner, finer texture. When you have afro textured hair, the sun does not beat right down on it to your scalp. It actually can absorb it, and it actually protects it from very hot environments, which would be our original environment. The reason our noses are wider is because we can breathe the higher elevation better. Naturally, we have larger noses for that reason. Our skin is
There are
darker
white people who have large, wide noses, and there are Asian people who have large, wide noses. What the hell are you talking about?
That's due to mixed racing, but the original man in the first place was African man from Africa originally. You already know that. If you guys,
the original man was not an African man.
Yes. The first man that ever walked the earth, yes, he was. He was of African descent originally. He was a black man.
Listen, hold on. Char,
going back to millions of years ago. Yes, that's
Char, just take a second, all right? Number one, we don't know, okay? Because the oldest bones were found in Africa, but we really don't know. We have no idea.
That's just the oldest bones that were found. That's it.
Number two, now before any of these like Hotep or extra, Afrocentric, he's a race hater. No. My whole thing is we're all the same. Is the common thing for black people to have dark skin, brown eyes, and coarse hair or whatever? Yes, that's typical. But as Kai said, that's found everywhere. Like you have people that are in Ireland or in Japan or whatever, they have afros too. You know what I mean? It just it all depends what's going on with your bloodline, whether or not these things are found or they're not found. Okay, there's dark people, light people. Everybody is mixed up. We're all the same. What needs to happen though is in this country, we need to stop trying to cloak things in a term of, oh, well, that's a cultural difference, or that's something that, is found with these type of people. It's all due to racism. That's all it's all due to. No one should have a problem with anyone because of the natural way that their hair comes out of their head. You shouldn't have a problem with it unless it becomes a danger to what you're doing at the job, or in some way it is a hazard to other students in your school. You should not care what kind of hairstyle they have. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense to care about something like that. For a corporate setting to say you look more professional if you don't have facial hair, that's dumb. Like, so you're telling me that somebody who's an engineer that's telling you about making something that you're into, that you're interested in making, you're less likely to listen to this person because they have a goatee? What are you talking about? Like, what does that even mean? It's dumb. It's a stupid way to conduct yourself. Why? Because typically, and historically, white men have been clean-shaven. So they want you to follow this Eurocentric way of doing things, and you need to comply. That's what it's all coming down to that. And as Kai said, to bring this full circle, it's funny how in the social acceptance race that's going on, gay people are beating us now because they're getting the government to apply law to the fact that I want to be called a she because I feel I'm a girl now. However, black people still can't even wear a hairstyle and keep a job. That's something wrong with that. All of this discussion of the original man and all that, to me, is like, whatever. It's nonsense to me. I don't. The point of that conversation is a waste of time. In the end of the day, in this country that wants you to continue to pay taxes and act like this is the greatest nation in the world, they still won't accept you if you don't act and dress like them. That's a problem. But we're supposed to look at this dude walking around in a skirt and call him a woman or lose our jobs.
Yeah. I completely agree. And Char got eerily quiet.
That's okay. I mean, I was actually trying to turn my computer on so I can actually read scientifically where this has been proven. But that's okay. That's another subject, another story. Right now, it's here, no there. It's just the fact that why is she discriminated against a child or any of these kids due to a hairstyle? It's ridiculous. So that we'll focus on that today because that's really what's happening. But I was just looking up, why specifically, African people or people of African descent have very specific features that we do. There is a scientific and a moral. There's a scientific reason when we were actually created for all of that, why we have that hair texture, why we have the nose, why we have this or that. And like I said, we can always touch upon that another time.
The funny thing, you bring up science, is there was a scientific research done by, what was it? I think there was one done by a French guy and one done by a Chinese guy who said that black people were inferior to white people because X, Y, Z. I can't really remember exactly what it was, but we were inferior, and they went through all their scientific reasons as to why. So you can read scientifically whatever you want to believe. To you, it's going to make absolute sense because that's what you're preconceived to believe also, and the only difference is that you just want to claim science is behind it. A Chinese person could say the same thing. Scientifically, you're inferior to me because X, Y, Z, and science proves it.
Yeah, but no, I hear what you're saying, but I don't have to claim science is behind it. This is historical. It's even some of it's even biblical. I'm only going by
you're inaccurate in what you're saying because a lot of the stuff you're pointing out. First of all, not all Africans have curly, kinky hair. Number one. Not all Africans have broad, wide noses. Number two. Not all Africans are dark-skinned. Some are freaking damn near white. Now, there are European people who have kinky hair who have broad noses and look exactly like a black person, except they're white. You're going to claim it's because interracial mixing or whatever the hell. But if you go back generations in their family, they've never been anywhere near African or black people.
That's really hard to believe. They can't prove, just like
that's
like
not
you guys
hard at all to believe.
Those.
We came from two people. How is that hard to believe? You see a family and they'll have a range of brown, black, and red hair. They came from the same two people. And in black families, you'll see dark children all the way down to light-skinned children, and they came from the same two people. How is that hard to believe that we came from two people and we're all spread out on the earth and just, look similar, but we have certain differences?
Well, because when you guys said, for example, those were the only bones that were found, that's the only family members that they are aware of on this earth being alive.
Not the only, the oldest bones that were found. You know how long this earth has been here?
Yeah.
Do you know how long this earth has been here? Are you seriously thinking that we're going to find the first human bones ever? Seriously?
No, that wasn't my point. My point was, if that's all that we have found, and you guys are saying, well, that's just what was found. We don't know for sure if that's that. We don't know for sure because other people don't have black people or black genetics or African whatever in their family. Just because they're alive to say, I don't see, I've never known, does not mean that's not where it originally came from. So to split DNA hairs
white
right
people
now,
could say the same
silly.
thing. How do you know black people don't have white in them because they were the first ones on this earth and blah, 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 blah?
Okay, once again, the reason why you're talking about certain ethnic groups that have whiter noses, there's no way in the world you could tell me that if you keep connecting those molecules, it's not going to go down to eventually to a person that was of African descent or black African, or I won't even say African, but a black man.
My head hurts. Logic, you need to take over from here.
Yeah.
I think we're getting lost into another conversation that's beyond what we should be having, which is how government is trying to enforce social narrative. And with this situation that we're talking about, they're saying they fired this man for insubordination because he was unwilling, as they say, unwilling to use the pronoun that this person wanted, the student. But they are completely ignoring and negating his right religiously to decide, this is not what I'm going to do. This is not how I believe things are. This is not what I believe that I should be doing. So what happens to his rights? If this person has a right to say...
Yes, and that's one thing I wanted to point out, too. Thank you.
Yeah, if this person has a right to say, this is what I am, the recipient, or I should say the person that's living in society with you, has a right to not participate if that's what they believe. And that was what my whole point always was with this whole transgender thing, and even gay people. It's like, all right, you're gay, who cares? But like, well, do you believe I should? I don't care what you do. That's not what I'm into. I don't care. Just do what you do over there and leave me alone. I don't need to accept it or applaud it. So when I keep seeing people asking celebrities, what do you think about? Why are you asking me that? I'm not gay. I don't care. If they want to get married, whatever. I don't think the government should have any say on what anyone does in their personal life personally. You know what I mean? Even if a dude wants to marry more than one woman, government enforces Christian beliefs, which I think is wrong, because if the government is just supposed to be this entity that, manages the nation, your race, your religious proclivities should mean nothing when it comes to policy. Some senator that's an evangelical Christian should not make policy based on his beliefs. That's your beliefs. But everybody's not a Christian. So why would you pass a law that reflects your Christian beliefs? That's unconstitutional. I think it's nonsense all around, and it's people are just jumping on these bandwagons and, okay, this is what we believe. and this is what this gay person wants, and whatever. So anyone who doesn't jump on board the flavor of the month, which is, this whole thing, then somehow they're wrong, and what they believe is archaic and not necessary. And if you don't believe it and don't agree, then you're expendable.
I've had people actually stop talking to me because, what was it, a couple years ago when Target was debating whether to put the gender-neutral bathrooms in, something like that. I was saying that, then my daughter's not going to go in there because you're still technically a guy. You're still a guy going into a woman's bathroom. You yourself just identify yourself as a woman. And I said that any man can then put on a wig, say they identify as a woman, go in the bathroom, and then do whatever to women. People stopped talking to me and drove saying I was gay bashing. And I was like, how is that gay bashing? I didn't say anything negative about gay people. Lo and behold, a couple months later, that's exactly what was happening. Here's exactly what happened. A couple guys put on a wig, said they identified as women, went in there and were either looking under the doors at women or, sexually harassing or molesting women in the stalls and all this other stuff. But because I just didn't go with the narrative and say, oh, yeah, let's do gender neutral and, I'm not thinking about the outcome of what I'm saying here, people stopped talking to me and said I was gay bashing. But those same people, if, I don't know, one of their friends, and not if, one of their friends said or did something racist, they were still friends with them. So
let me tell you how hypocritical people are. They were pushing that the idea that you have these gender neutral bathrooms, right? Okay, so they want society to say, oh, it's time to step into the 21st century. It's time to update the way you think. Now I'm gonna tell you something. If Target was to then understand, okay, Muslim people, they pray 5 times a day. So in order to make sure that we're inclusive to all people of religious backgrounds, we're going to make a special room in all of our Targets so that Muslims can pray if they ever get caught there at a certain time. Do you know people would boycott Target as if they're doing something wrong?
Dude, they boycotted, what was it? It was a commercial. Cheerios, was it? When they said, it was Ramadan, and they said Happy Ramadan or whatever. They lost their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean,
this was like 3 or 4 years ago.
They lose their minds now if people say Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. People act like in some way like, oh, the terrorists are winning. Yeah, it's Christmas. Just say Christmas. No, everybody doesn't believe in Christmas. So what do we? They lose it.
Yeah. But we're only supposed to respect a certain thing, just not everything. Nothing dealing with Muslims, nothing dealing with black people, just certain things.
But here's my question.
I can't think of a worse way to treat a child.
I have a question though. And I wish we knew somebody that. I don't even want to say gay because I don't even think all gay people will agree with what's going on. But I would like to speak to somebody who believes that the way the government is enforcing certain things, they believe it's correct, it's right. I would like to understand what is with the targeting of children and this whole the gay thing. And then when I say the gay thing, I mean being gay is a sexual preference, right? So what I don't understand is what is with the literature and the stuff that they're doing in, elementary schools when it comes to, gay and everything like that. And, this is a story about a gay boy who blah, blah, blah. Like, my thing is, if they are saying that it is a sexual preference, then when it comes to children, that sexual preference isn't prevalent yet because that part of their brain hasn't been activated yet. So how much of it is actually being gay in the sexual preference sense of the word, and how much of it is this lifestyle type of kind of a culture that it's becoming? I would like to know what is that, and why is it almost to the point of being overtly targeting kids, here you go, this is a new way that you could be. I don't understand that.
I mean, I wish somebody would call in 607-203-5378 and give their opinion on that, or text 484-840-3627. But most people, I was trying to book people from the LGBT. I don't know. Is it? But it's a Q at the end. LGBTQ community. But their whole thing was, and by the way, they're just as racist. Again, it's not generalized. There are a lot of them that are just as racist. You are and this is what I don't understand. When people are discriminated against, quote unquote, and I use huge quotes, minority people. I hate that term so much it's not even funny. But minorities, quote unquote, who are already discriminated against, turn around and discriminate against other minorities. It's the dumbest thing to me, ever in the history of ever. But anyways, yeah. So
see, now here's something that's going to get me a bunch of hate. I guarantee you. I think the worst thing that black people did was allow the government to put in the quote minority title, because minority just means somebody that isn't the majority. It's not black people, and we both know, you and I, that black people were the ones who shed blood in the whole civil rights movement. It wasn't Spanish people, it wasn't Asians, it wasn't gay people, and it wasn't Jewish people. It was black people that got beat up, dogs sicked on them, they got blown down the street by fire hoses in order to have civil rights and a bunch of governmental changes in the system. Now, all the rest of these people that I said didn't shed any blood in the game get to come in, and they get to just use all of the benefits that we suffer for, to the point where sometimes black people don't get it. They get it before a black person will get it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just wondering if we're reaching anybody. I'm wondering if we're reaching anybody with the hypocrisy that's going on here. If anybody's understanding or caring. Because at the same time, you might understand, but do you care? Because I watched a video on YouTube where this woman, a Muslim woman, was talking about, what was it, the Turks in the China area, in the China province, that the Chinese people are forcing them
the Uyghurs.
Yeah, the Chinese people are forcing them, and they're all Muslims, so the Chinese people are forcing them to go into camps, concentration camps, and torturing them and trying to force them to claim atheism. If you have a Muslim name, which I don't even know what that means. There's no such thing as a Muslim name. But anyways, if you have a Muslim name, or anybody Muslim, or of course you're wearing your scarf or whatever, they put you in these camps and they torture the crap out of you. They pull up your fingernails, they pull out your teeth, and the woman was trying to get the world to talk about this so it could stop. And in the article, in the comments under that video, people were like, "Who cares? They're just Muslims." Or they're getting done to them what they're trying to do to the world, or they're trying to enforce their doctrine onto the world. So why not have this happen to them? People just didn't care, just based on what they thought Muslims are like.
But just think about that logic. Just think about that logic that person said. They should have this done to them because they're trying to enforce their logic onto the world. Isn't America doing that? Trying to enforce the way they think people should be? So does that mean then that Americans should go somewhere and get their fingernails pulled up and bamboo shoots stuck under their skin in order for them to, be a different way? Because Americans want people to be what? More American, more westernized, all this other stuff. So it's nonsense. As you were saying with that statement, they don't care.
I didn't really have an argument, but I went back to a woman. So I watched 90 Day Fiancé. If you don't know 90 Day Fiancé, you gotta watch it. It's so good. So, anyways,
I wanted to watch that, so now you're saying it's pretty good.
Oh my God, it's so good. So anyway, this woman came over here from Thailand, and they asked her on her Instagram, I guess which what do you call it again? National anthem do you like better? So she was like, I like singing the U.S. national anthem, but I love the Thailand anthem way better. And people were losing their shit. Well, go back to your country then. Why are you here? So I was like, I said, so what you're telling me is if you move to another country, you would drop the U.S. national anthem and immediately love their national anthem? Like, how does this make sense to you? So a lot of people were understanding where I was coming from, and they were like, yeah. And I was just, how could you even form your mouth to say this? Like, that was your thought? You're in our country, like our national anthem better. Or go back where you came from. But if you move somewhere else, you're still gonna rep America. And that's just the way it should be. And everybody else needs to be like that, rep America over their country, or go back to where you came from.
Yeah, I don't think she was dissing America.
The whole thing is just hypocrisy, and I don't understand how people are. Just let other people live. That's it. We're all trying to do the same thing, which is freaking survive. That's it. We're trying to raise kids that aren't dicks. We're trying just to, make it to, I don't know, I guess our 100th birthday. We're trying not to be homeless on the streets. Like, leave people alone. I don't know. Okay, so here's the story from the listener. We had a female student who was transitioning from female to male, and we had to call her him and by his new name. Lawyers ended up getting involved because there were some teachers who were used to calling her by her birth name so they would forget. She could use the male teacher's restroom, and no one could say anything unless we wanted a lawsuit. Basically, we all had to transition to his new life. Wow. See, this is one thing I don't understand is, if I've known you for years and years and years, and I'm used to calling you Brenda, and you just became Bob, you expect me overnight to start calling you Bob? Like, are you freaking kidding me? Or start calling you him? But my whole life I've always called you her. You expect overnight for this to happen, or you're suing the shit out of me. Like, seriously?
It's not realistic. It's really not. And oh wow, it's like a forced dysfunction in America. That's my best way to describe it. And I know people are gonna get on me for saying this, but why? I just don't understand why it's okay to come out and say, "Hey, I identify as a boy now," but when the Dolans, what's her name again?
Dolazar.
She identified as Dolazar. She identified as black. She's a white woman who identified as black, and everybody was clowning the shit out of her because she wanted to be black, and she said she's black. She said, I'm not white, I'm black. But they clowned her for that. But it's the same principle as somebody coming out and saying, hey, I just realized I'm not a girl. I'm a dude, and from now on, you're going to call me a dude. And I'm sitting here looking at a woman in my face, but I'm supposed to call her a dude. I can't clown her because I can get sued.
Do you see the difference, though?
What's the difference?
The difference is when it comes to this transgender stuff and these gay guys, those are still white people, largely white people. So it's their nephews, their brothers, their sisters, there are people that look like them, which is the reason why they care. Okay, what they couldn't understand with Rachel was that why would she care about these black people? What white person would want to become black? That's what they didn't understand, and they just looked at it like it was just crazy. And a bunch of, short-sighted black people decided to take it as an insult and say, she's going to decide that. But they didn't really understand the fact. No one took the time to understand why Rachel Dolezal came to that conclusion. What happened to her? Because let's be real. I'm not even trying to act like this woman's a champion. Just think about what you're talking. What person, a part of the majority, that doesn't have to live life as a minority that is undervalued, why would they give up their status as somebody who is of the upper majority and decide to demote themselves? Something would have to happen to make someone do that. That's like a rich person deciding to become poor. Uh-huh. Something has to happen to make them do that. So once you found out that she was abused, to an extreme amount, and then her family adopted black kids, and they completely were destroying these kids with the physical abuse, and then her brother sexually assaulted one of the girls that she bonded with. She felt that was her sister and her little brother, and she did whatever she could to protect them. And once she got old enough, she moved out and gave them a way out. She said, "You come live with me, get away from that, and if you want to." And then when she decided to, with her black sister, to bring her white brother up on charges for sexual assault, and she would corroborate what she saw happening, that's when all of that stuff leaked out and she became disgraced. No one bothered to put that together. They just decided to jump on the bandwagon and dump on her. But that's what it was all about. Her family colluded to embarrass her and make her, a pariah so that her testimony will be worthless in the case. That's what it was all about.
Okay, so Logic,
I didn't even know that.
I've got to ask you this, Logic. Did I just hear you say?
Oh wait, before you get into what you're saying, and due to that happening, her black sister did not win her sexual assault case, and they dismissed it, and her brother went free.
Wow! Oh my God! So Logic, did you actually say that that transgenders are? They're usually white people because black people don't generally do that, or are you saying that in this particular
I didn't say that black people don't generally do it. I said majority of the cases that you see that are fought for are white people. Now, I don't know how much is white people and black people that become straight. I don't know. But I know this. The reason that they even care in the first place is because that's their son. Well, that's their daughter. Like, okay, we already know a couple of celebrities that have it. Cher, her daughter is turned into Chaz. And,
right, exactly.
Bruce Jenner turned into whatever. What is it? What's the new name?
I forgot his name now.
Caitlyn.
Yeah,
turned
Caitlyn.
into Caitlyn. You know what I mean? So that's already two upper level, very rich, high class celebrities that we know. This one is an Olympian. The other one is a known star that's been out there for 40 years now. You know what I mean? So this is something that is hitting home with the most expensive households. Which one of these people that I just discussed, or how many white celebrities do we know that care about black issues? Or have any black people in their family where they would care about what cops are doing to black people? Almost none. Sandra Bullock, who else? Spielberg has a black kid. Tom Cruise, it's not a lot.
Right.
Most of them don't. You know what I mean? And we're talking about those are movie people. How many regular, just rich people have black people in their family? Almost none of them. But when it comes to gay kids that are confused about their gender and everything, that's in almost who knows how many households. It's all over the place.
Okay.
And the reason that I asked the question about this thing with the kids is because I saw this video yesterday where apparently some superintendent thought it was a good idea to have a drag queen come in and have story time with preschoolers. And I didn't understand why. You know, like, why wouldn't you just get a regular teacher that's teaching the class? But
role models are important. Positive role models are important.
They sponsored this drag queen to come in and read storybooks. And I couldn't get any sense out of that. Like, what was the point?
Wow. You know, kids are looking up to that. I mean, role models are who you would think of. Anyone who is a role model, it represents something wholesome and positive that we can all relate to in our communities or that we would aspire to be. So now some of these children are aspiring to be the drag queen, not understanding, not knowing, just saying, hey, he had on high heels. He wore lipstick like Mommy did. He has a pretty dress. You know, it's crazy. I mean, how do you really explain that?
Or the other thing that is guys doing makeup tutorials on Instagram,
YouTube,
not Instagram, YouTube, and becoming famous, and now other kids are looking up to them because that's an easy way to become famous and get money, and
that's true.
And also, if you look at what's celebrated online, they celebrate loose girls. And they celebrate gay men. So as a boy, if you have very little self-esteem, you don't have the proper parental structure at the house. Wouldn't it be, if the only thing you want is attention, wouldn't it be a very intoxicating choice for you to then say, I'm going to start acting like a gay guy? Because it doesn't matter what you say or do, you're going to get liked just because you're a part of that community. You know, they're going to, people are going to support you. I mean, look what's happening with Kevin Hart right now. I'm not a fan of Kevin Hart. Personally, I don't think he's that funny. And I thought that whole thing with him and Tiffany Haddish and Cat Williams was stupid. But he wanted to host the Oscars. And some gay people found some old posts that he did years ago that he's already since then, not prompted by anybody, but decided that he was going to come out there and, this was like a couple of years ago. He said, I don't really feel that way anymore. Back in the day, blah, blah, blah. He's already explained this. This is something that's already been taken care of and explained, and he's apologized for it. They wanted a second apology. We want you to apologize again.
Yeah, to the community specifically.
And they called him, whoever the president of the Academy is this year, called him and said, yeah, you need to get out there and you need to apologize again. And he refused. And even though he refused, he did actually apologize again. But I thought it was, again, the arrogance of the situation. So because you found out that I'm going to host this thing, and because you know that society right now bends a knee to whatever you say because of popular opinion, no one has the spine to stand up and say, shut up, sit down, we don't care. You decided that you want to tell this person, I want you to apologize again, just because I want to hear it. That's crazy to me.
Well, the thing is, because I was going to ask if he apologized, I'm really happy he didn't apologize because that's bending a knee to stupidity.
Not again.
No, he did. But what it was is He did apologize again. But what it was is they kept wanting him to do more, and he told them, "Listen, I don't want to host it. You just go ahead and do it. Give it to somebody else." Which
right.
I'm glad
right.
he dug his heels in there. But yeah, the issue was that they wanted him to jump through hoops in order to say I'm sorry. But as you said before, Kai, does anyone go into their history and find out how many times that they haven't cared about something that's going on with black people or Palestinians or the over 1 million Iraqi that's died over a war that the government has now already admitted there was really no reason for them to go in? There was never any weapons of mass destruction. Nothing there. Over 1 million are dead.
Well, as you can see from that YouTube video, nobody really cares because it's not dealing with anybody important. But anyways, that I really just had to bring this to the show and bring this to our listeners. And if people stop listening to us for this show, then you're an ass, because you completely missed the point of this episode. If you thought we were gay bashing, then you're stupid, because, again, you completely missed the point of this episode.
Right.
So y'all kind of got a feel of my mindset on Tuesday when I was livid. I've never seen something on the internet before that made me so angry. And I just actually read a post where a white guy just shot a black teen during road rage, killed her. But what a worse way to treat a child.
Well, I'm not going to tell you about the CNN correspondent that they fired because he said that Palestinians should be free from the river to the sea.
Oh, I forgot about him. They fired the crap out of him because he didn't stand with Israel. With why would I stand with Israel when they're doing the same thing to people that was done with them? The same thing that we're supposed to learn about every single year in school. For some odd reason, we have to learn about Anne Frank and everything. They're over there doing the exact same thing, and we're supposed to stand with them. I don't stand with racism. I don't stand with genocide. I don't stand with xenophobia. So screw that. But
like you said,
quick,
they don't care. So that's what it's all coming down to.
So I was telling y'all that I was trying to get some people from the LGBTQ community on, but they didn't want to come on if we were going to be talking about gay issues or asking like straight people questions to gay people because, quote unquote, they've heard it all already, and we're just going to ignore it. We're not going to answer those questions.
If they heard it all, shouldn't it be an easy answer?
Well, I'm just telling you why we're not going to get any.
Oh, God.
And that's why. So anyways, before we go, I have trivia for Char. Char.
Okay.
How do you say the word when, you don't want people to know it's you doing or saying something?
Okay, so you guys, first of all, where's my drum roll? Do we have time for that? I wanted the drum roll.
Do I even have a drum roll?
Oh, gosh. Well, I don't know. We wouldn't know now. We've got 2 minutes. Okay, so, guys, when Kai was explaining something about this story, she used the word unanimously, but that's not the word. I think I can pronounce that one. I think it was anonymous and anonymously. So I've been working on this because anonymous means what? When you want to be excluded from something.
Don't
you don't
mean a goddamn thing.
That's not it's not anonymous? I still didn't get it right. So unanimous? No, anonymous is a word,
unanimous?
Right? ANONYMOUS, anonymous. If you don't want us to say, we want to protect you, don't say your name, whatever.
How are you putting
it?
You just spelled it correctly, but then you still put the M in the wrong place? Seriously?
No, it's not you. Anonymously, and then unanimously. See, I thought, you know what, guys? I'm still working on it. Sorry. I really thought I had this down. I really did. So, Oh, this is hilarious. Okay, Logic, no words on your end. Okay,
we only have
silence.
10 seconds left. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, our long listener, for coming back. We missed you. Also, next week we're taking relationship questions from female only. Thank you for joining us. Peace out, everyone.
Have a great week, everyone. Signing off from Las Vegas. Goodbye.